Okay, we're on lesson number 351, and we're approaching the end of the workbook of A Course in Miracles. Remember, in our need for words, um, it's just about over now. And the reason why the need for words is becoming more unnecessary. And it's not, remember, he's talking about the need for words not to when we speak to each other or not, but our need for words for practice periods are coming to a close because we're getting to the point where we've sufficiently healed our mind and we've sufficiently understood and realigned ourselves with a true purpose so that we're going to begin to function more and more naturally along the lines that these lessons are guiding us to, and along the lines Jesus was training our mind to and attempting to teach us in the text. And now, based on the experiences are shining light on Jesus's meaning of the text. Okay, now there's a couple things when I read this lesson, and I don't want to belabor it again because our need for words is almost over now. We can wake up in the morning, take the moment. We're beginning to understand how we work best with this and how it works best with us. And when we really want to fulfill our function, we find that groove because we're beginning to get the guidance and have the inspiration during the course of the day and have the experiences that motivate us to continue. Now remember, we're in a section, the contemplation is what am I? And we've come to understand what we are. And here we are, lesson 351. My sinless brother is my guide to peace. My sinful brother is my guide to pain. And which I choose to see, I will behold. Now, there's something that I want to say about this when we talk about the word sin. Okay. We're asked to, how do I say this? Understand sin as merely a mistake that's quite correctable, but has no effect on anyone's reality, yet affects the way we experience ourselves within this dream that we're now awakening from. We can choose to see a brother who is innocent, or we can choose to decide the brothers we look on are guilty. Now, that does, or sinful, that does not mean we don't recognize mistakes and utilize forgiveness to correct it. But within the nature of us now recognizing mistakes, there's an a priori understanding that our brother is sinless and guilt-free because I am sinless and free of guilt by freeing myself here from guilt and allowing my interactions with my brother to be part of how I come to see what I need to heal in my mind because I've projected that out there. I've made an ego for everyone, including myself, and I get the reflection back. Behind the reflection, both mine and my brothers, behind these avatars, there's a reality that's infinite, eternal, completely innocent, guiltless, because there's no such thing as guilt in the totality of reality that is love. We can choose to see one or the other. Now, when we choose to see a sinful brother, we're choosing to experience the world as guilty and fearful for ourselves. When we choose to see a sinless brother, we don't have to conceptualize what it means for our brother to be sinless. We don't have to look out there and attempt to correct perceptually and conceptually what we think are the mistakes. Either he's making or I'm making. I just have to recognize that if I want to see a sinless brother, I've chosen sickness, pain, suffering, and death for myself. Okay? If I want to see a sinless brother, sinful brother, if I see a sinless brother, okay, I don't have to, because my sinless brother is not a product of my imagination or my conceptualization. He's actually a creation of our Father, as I am. I don't have to write a script or put anything in that blank. I just have to make the choice and let it be shown to me, because I can't see sinlessness. I can't see guiltlessness. I can't see through the eyes of love until my mind is joined with the light that I am. Who is my brother but your holy son? Of course, because it's God has one son. All the souls, the sum total of all the souls that make up creation is that one son. In number infinite. Eternal in nature. Whole and perfect. And you are a unit within that totality. And that totality is part of you as that unit. And you already fit perfectly in the totality of reality somewhere within creation. Within space and time, we've always been looking for our right place, thinking when we find it here, we'll find meaning and life will be easy. What we need to remember is we can restore ourselves to the understanding that we are already in the right place, in the right time, in reality, because we could never left it being a totality outside of which is nothing, within which is only the perfection of the creative reality that we're whole and perfect in. If I see him sinful, I proclaim myself a sinner, not a son of God, alone and friendless in a fearful world. If we decide that our brother is that way, that's because we decided that's what we are. Now, I'm not going to use the body's eyes to make these determinations. It's not that I'm not going to use the body's eyes to look out there and say, okay, I see brothers. I'm not going to allow them to determine my inner relationship with my brothers, simply because the ego shows me pictures that it would like me to utilize in order to continue its seeming life, which is a distraction from my reality. Now, I'm not going to deny that my body's eye sees these pictures. I'm just not going to use them to make decisions in regard to myself and my brother any longer, because first of all, I've had experiences, but second of all, if you've been asked to decide in a different way. Okay? Yet this perception is a choice I make and can relinquish. I don't know how to relinquish it. I just know it's one I can make, because how else does it get into my mind? Okay? So when it comes into my mind, now I can say, wait a second. I don't want this to be true. Would I want that to be true about myself? If I don't want it to be true about me, then it can't be true about my brother. I don't know how to not make it true. I don't know how to make the correction. I can only decide within me what I want and then allow it to be shown to me, to be made manifest through me, through miracles, through actions of forgiveness in our mind, through holy instances that we employ, through the formulation of holy relationships, where we take what was of the past special and begin to utilize it in our mind to heal ourselves and to help our brother see himself truly, without a demand or need for expectations. And with this choice, I see my sinless, my everlasting comforter, my friend beside me. Yes. And my way secure and clear. Choose then for me, Father, through your voice. For he alone gives judgment. So if you could make the choice, you don't have to. You can look out and see all the craziness in the world and say, boy, these terrorists are nuts, and look at what we're trying to do to kill the terrorists, or we're terrorizing. You can look on and say, okay, wait a second. I know that all looks crazy, and I know the ego wants me to judge, but I don't have to do that. I don't have to act on what the ego wants me to do, the judgments and the images I see, because I would prefer my brother to be innocent, whole, and perfect, and only love, because I like to be innocent, whole, and perfect, and only love, because in that new relationship, what I'm seeing out there wouldn't have the ability to exist. So what would I prefer? Now, I don't know how to make it true, but I can obviously see what I prefer and say it, and then not write the script to make it true, but let the Spirit of the Lord, of the Father who is one, let the Spirit of the Father who is one work through me by freeing my mind and my heart from the limitations I've enforced on my soul, so that my soul, the life that is the love and eternal nature of my soul, in its infinite capacity, can begin to shine through and not require anything of my brother for me to be at peace, but the decision to be made so that my brother can see that I don't need anything from him to be at peace, and therefore he's got nothing. I'm not a threat to him. Eventually, there's nothing you wouldn't give, because there's nothing that's been deprived. Your father's deprived you of nothing. Why would you deprive your brother of anything? The text said to me, if you deprive yourself, if you deny your brother anything, you deny yourself everything. Okay, I don't know how to make that true. Because my ego wants to run wild with a statement like that and say, well, what if he asked me for this, that? Well, nobody's asked me for anything yet. I've only been asked to look at that in the nature of how I want to live and the integration of my heart and mind back into my own reality. Do I want that to be true? Yes. Okay. So the next time somebody asks me something, I'm not going to deny them. I don't have to know. I just have to know that I could depend on the Spirit of the Father, which is one, and the eternal nature of our brother and myself within that oneness, to allow my ability to say yes to my brother and have it be made manifest through me within the miraculous nature of our joint decision to say yes to each other, in order for us not to deny each other love in a form that's understandable here in the world of space and time, that doesn't come out of sacrifice, but comes because the forgiving nature of our loving Father's mind, which we share unto the non-necessity of forgiveness and back into the reality of creation.